Joint Budget and Finance Committee meeting and Committee of the Whole meeting to order. It's Monday, January 8th, and the time is 3:36 p.m. Madam Pro Tem, have you had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes, I move for approval of the minutes of December 11th, 2023.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The minutes from the last meeting have passed. Next is consideration of the consent agenda. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any items for consent?
Yes, I would like to offer the following items for consent. I'll wait for a minute.
Oh, we started. We're just waiting for you.
Just one.
We're just waiting for you. We started. Yeah.
Just waiting.
We're on you. You came just in time.
Yeah, just in time.
Madam Chairman, I would like to suggest that we add items 5, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, and 21 to consent. Do you need me to read those again?
I think I got it. And also, I know administration wants to withdraw item 18. Okay, so that was item 5, page 1, item 6, page 2, item 9, page 3, items 12 and 13, page 4, items 14 and 15, page 5, item 16, page 6, items 19 and 20 on page 7, and item number 21 on page 8. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda has passed. If your item is placed on consent, you can enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Otherwise, the first item we have is item number 4. And this is a resolution authorizing the city clerk to publish ordinances, resolutions, bids, ads, and notices with various newspaper vendors for the 2024 calendar year.
Yeah. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a yearly resolution that the clerk's office submits to the council based off of their publications to the Alabama Messenger, the Montgomery Advertiser, and the Birmingham Times for publication of all notices, legal notices for the city of Birmingham on behalf of the clerk's office.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Council Abbott, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I did. I just had one question, and that is, in the past, we've approved individual contracts with these entities. Is the reason we're not doing that anymore for flexibility, or?
So within the actual documents that you have, it lists each individual, so this is just improving efficiency and just making one document.
Okay, but they used to have dollar amounts, and we don't know the dollar amounts.
Yes, so I think the language in the resolution noted not the actual dollar amount, but it just noted the.
Well, yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
What I want to know is why we're changing the way we're doing it. Is it because we don't have the Birmingham News anymore?
Go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Lisa Dees, and I serve as the Deputy City Clerk. Counselor, we've been doing it this way the past couple of years, and because we are not doing individual resolutions as we did before, no, there is not, has not been a dollar amount placed in this form of resolution. As far as did you ask about the Birmingham News?
No, yes, we still use the Birmingham News. This is to expand because I think the news only publishes 3 times out of the week. So this fills in that gap of where we can publish things more timely.
Okay, and so when we publish, do we publish in all of them, every document, or do we spread the
ma'am.
work around, or how does that go?
We spread the work around unless there are specific types of ads, I think like the bids that require that to be published in various papers. Otherwise, it's just published in one particular paper, and we do spread it around.
And Madam Councilor Abbott, and it's really based off of timing more than anything, why we use the different other organizations like the Messenger of the Times. If we have a 7-day public notice that needs to go out, then we may go with someone other than the Birmingham Times based off that publication.
Okay, well, I didn't know whether their number of readers had anything to do with how we choose, or, I guess,
No, I think it's just making sure that we conform with the law of publishing.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Madam Pro Tem, did you have any questions?
Well, I guess I just wanted to follow up. This is the first time I've seen an unknown as an amount. It isn't an up to amount, or just,
My
is that what's the budgeted amount?
Yeah, so I know that we're bound by the city code 3-1-7, so I think it gives that flexibility once we reach that threshold of $10,000 to go ahead and use the other newspapers.
Okay. And it also didn't have anything to do, I guess I was curious when it comes to bids. I know the state legislature had passed some legislation last year that deals with how we bid or how we have to submit things for bids sometimes. That loosens some of the requirements we had. So does this fall under that, or that's not necessarily the case
Yeah,
here?
I think that'll be something a little bit different because
Okay.
the threshold for bids has increased, so I think that's just a separate thing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Council Abbott, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 4 passes. Thank you. Next item is item number 7. This is for the city to complete a grant with ALDOT. It's for grant funding from ALDOT's Rebuild Alabama Act Annual Grant Program for paving and adding a 2-way cycle track on 21st Avenue South, with the total grant not to exceed $250,000, with no matching funds required by the city.
Good afternoon, committee. My name is Colin Alexander. I serve as senior planner with the Birmingham Department of Transportation. Before you is a standard grant application resolution that we've gone through the city council process with in the past. You're looking at a Rebuild Alabama grant application. So we won a Rebuild Alabama grant last year on kind of a similar project along Graymont, which we're about to get to the point of issuing an award here soon, hopefully. And so that was going to pave Graymont from Arkadelphia to just past Bush Boulevard and adding in some bike lanes. In the meantime, we're starting to look at other projects, and this one started to come into focus. This project has sort of 2 origin points. First was a couple years ago, we had a traffic calming case that was put forward for 21st Avenue South, locally known as Diaper Row. And the committee at the time was recommending some speed cushions and some bike lane infrastructure to try to slow down traffic. That case kind of got put on hold, partially because we were approached by an outside organization called the Red Mountain Cut Organization. And they're looking at a much bigger, more ambitious dream of bike and ped connections in this area, mostly to restore and expand the old Red Mountain Museum trail through the Red Mountain Expressway. But also we're looking at improving laterally the transportation and bike and ped infrastructure on 21st Avenue South. And it was very similar to some of the recommendations that we were making as a traffic calming committee at the time. The group approached us about last year, wanted us to apply for a TAP grant to do the improvements on 21st Avenue. We actually already had a grant that we were writing for TAP at the time, which was our 15th Avenue North project, which we won last year. They were unable to find another sponsor. They've been communicating with us, trying to find a way for the city to help commit to move their vision forward. And so this opportunity kind of is very appealing. It does not do the entire 21st Avenue South project, mostly because this grant is only for $250,000 instead of the $1 million that a TAP project would be. But the second part of it is that there would be no local match here that's required. So we're going to limit the project to the $250,000 that the grant awards. We're looking at doing probably pavement preservation, but some kind of pavement improvement to the roadway on 21st Avenue between 21st Street, just east of the Red Mountain Expressway, back to the city limits with Mountain Brook. We're going to be putting in a two-way cycle track. So on one side of the road, you get 2 lanes of bicycle traffic. There'd be a separated barrier that would have actual flexible bollards designed with that, and then looking at adding some on-street parking, narrowing the travel lanes, and making it an overall safer street for everybody involved.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. I just wanted to know, with this particular project, this will not complete the entire plan for the project. So about what percentage of this would make the project towards completion?
I'm not sure if I could give you percentage, but I'm thinking about it, at least for 21st Avenue, kind of in sets of 3s. So one of them is improving this and expanding the sidewalk. And that's being done. The Red Mountain Cut organization is doing a really good job of fundraising for that portion. So that will probably be a separate project. And then you've got to look at how you're going to address the western half of Diaper Road. How do you connect this to the Richard Arrington Greenway that's coming over the mountain to make it a full network? So that's going to be a separate project, whether that's a single project, multiple projects. I couldn't tell you. We're not that far along in terms of planning. Right now, we're really focusing on this one opportunity.
Okay, because I guess that just led me to wonder, I guess, there's a master plan for all of this, and so then you take these chunks and, say, for instance, you say you didn't want to use the tip, but you'll use this, or tip or tap.
Yeah. Yes.
And so I just wondered, if there's a planning process or there's an overall plan?
There is, and the Red Mountain Cut organization's been doing a really good job of coordinating with other stakeholders, generating funds, letters of supports for the entire corridor, and that they're really pushing on that vision. This was just an opportunity from the city of Birmingham's perspective to contribute in some way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, Council Abbott.
Well, thank you. The reason I wanted this not to be on consent is that I had a number of questions, and part of our ARPA money is going towards the project, which the idea was to link the botanical gardens, the zoo, and Vulcan, where people could walk or cycle instead of driving their cars going 50 or 60 miles an hour down 21st Avenue, because it's a very nice, wide road, and it just invites you to speed, and so people do. So we wanted people to be able to walk safely, and I wondered how this was going to fit in.
Yes, so that it's kind of similar to my answer to Councilor Alexander, is that it's part of the phased overlaying of whatever opportunities and resources we have. So my understanding is that those ARPA funds, in partnership with, I know the city of Mountain Brook is putting some money towards the overall project and improving their connectivity back towards English Village and towards the zoo. That part of it, again, it's more focused, I think, towards the sidewalk infrastructure. We're really trying to stay within the budget of this relatively small grant. And so we took concrete work largely out of it in order to stay within budget. So this is supplemental to that effort, that when you combine those two projects, you'll have a good, complete street network on the eastern half done, with the hopes of getting towards the western half and connect towards Richard Arrington, towards Vulcan and Homewood.
Okay, so this will be from the Mountain Brook city limit to the Elton B. Stevens Expressway?
Not quite to the expressway. It would go to 21st Street South, which is a side street that's just to the east of the expressway on-ramp. We didn't want to get into navigating across the expressway unless we were doing the full project. It's really complicated from a safety standpoint to finish it at an on-ramp like that. So we pulled it just to the east of the on-ramp, so that way we can have a safe landing spot in the short term with the long-term vision of getting under the expressway.
Okay, so you're riding your bicycle from Mountain Brook, and suddenly you're not riding your bicycle in any lanes anymore, you're just on your own.
So part of that's going to be handled with design. We haven't started design work on this project, but we're going to set up a design structure to make it a safe transition at that point.
Yeah, because we have a whole lot of those in Birmingham, that the bicycle lane just disappears,
Yeah.
and you're still on your bicycle, and you're still trying to go somewhere. You know, you don't want to turn around just so you can be in the bike lane. But I'm glad something's happening, because something is always better than nothing.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any more questions? Oh, I don't have any questions. Is there a motion and a second?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 7 passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is item number 8. This is a down payment assistance agreement between the City of Birmingham and Neighborhood Housing Services of Birmingham, under which Neighborhood Housing Services of Birmingham will be awarded funds under the Community Development Block Grant to administer the citywide Ready to Own Birmingham program, which will assist with down payment assistance and closing costs that will provide home buyers with flexible gap financing for a term of 1 year and an amount not to exceed $87,250. Okay?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Corey Stallworth. I serve as Senior Deputy Director of Community Development. And so before you, we're excited today. Community Development is launching our Ready to Own program, which is a down payment assistance program that will serve residents across the city. And so we will be making available grants up to $10,000 per homeowner to be able to apply it towards down payment assistance, closing costs, as well as in this market, we're allowing it to be applied towards interest rate buy down. So we're having to be creative to make sure that people have the opportunity towards home ownership. And so to administrate that program, we put out an RFP over a year ago seeking a partner who would be able to do the intake for the program, take calls, be able to screen applicants, be able to point applicants to other resources if they're not just ready yet, and also facilitate the closing of the $10,000. And so out of our proposals that responded, Neighborhood Housing Service had the highest score. And so today we're recommending partnering with Neighborhood Housing Services to administrate the program on behalf of the city.
Is there a representative from the Neighborhood Housing
Yes.
Services of Birmingham?
Yes, we do have 2 representatives here, as well as I do have an overview of how the program works for you all, and we can pass that out as well.
Okay, thank you.
Good
Hey,
afternoon. I'm DeForest Brown. I serve as a consultant slash HUD certified housing counselor, and I work in support of the down payment assistance program with Neighborhood Housing. And we have the Home Buyers Center manager, Shantae Ross.
You can come up, yeah.
Hi, I'm Shantae Ross.
Oh, who are you with again?
Neighborhood Housing Services, I'm the Homeownership Program Director.
Okay, gotcha. I know you guys gave us a PowerPoint handout, but can you explain the program some more?
Yes, Neighborhood Housing helps people by educating them on the process of homeownership and helping them to prepare to be stable. So not only get homes, but to maintain them, as well as their credit and budget.
Okay.
I'll just step in
Okay,
and add
so
a
it's
little bit more to it
Yeah.
because Neighborhood Housing Services will be administrating it, but it'll still be a city public-facing program. And so if you open up to the first slide, you'll see that the Ready to Own program, as I stated, will be assistance up to $10,000, which will be in the form of a forgivable loan. We will put a restrictive covenant on that $10,000 to make sure that any person that is getting that money, that they remain in the home for a certain period, and that the home remains in ownership of someone that is low to moderate income. If not, then that amount will be prorated that they have to pay back if they move before the 5 years. Funding can go towards down payment assistance, closing costs, interest rate buy down. Of course, the property has to be within the Birmingham city limits. Next slide just goes over some eligibility requirements. The borrower must have a minimum credit score of 600, which is lower than some banks. The household income for the buyer must not exceed 80% of the area median income. home buyer education is a requirement. So that is pre-home buyer education, learning about the lending products and all of that. But we want to add a new course to this program, which will include how to maintain your property once you get it. Servicing your HVAC, changing filters, even how do you abide and keep in line with being in alignment with code enforcement. And so we want to make sure that our home buyers are aware of that. Also, before any potential home buyer is reserved any funds, they have to have a sales agreement. So we will not be reserving funds for folks that don't have an agreement to purchase a house already. The next slide, of course, the program is for the city of Birmingham, but with this program, we are prioritizing our city of Birmingham employees. And so we want to help any employees that are interested in becoming first-time home buyers, as well as new employees that are moving into the city. We want to be able to support them with this program as well. So that's our first priority. Second priority is those homes that are constructed using community development funding. And so we want to help any buyers that are interested in purchasing our homes in an effort to make sure that those homes are getting off the market faster. And then third priority is the larger city of Birmingham. And so we will definitely look at these priorities, especially once we start getting tight on our funding and funding begins to run out. And then our next slide, you'll see just a high-level overview of neighborhood housing services role. So as I stated earlier, client intake, so they will be taking the applications through our same software that community development purchased. They will be doing case management of clients. So there will be some clients that are ready to purchase that will apply, they're ready to go. And then there'll be some others where they'll need some credit repair assistance. They may need to find gainful employment. And so neighborhood housing services are still going to shepherd those individuals and work with them even up to a year to help them become ready to purchase a home. They will do the home buyer education. They will be at the closing table to make sure everything goes smoothly. We will also jointly with community development, we will host community seminars. So we want to go to all of our areas to make sure that the public is aware of this. And we also want to host lunch and learns with employees of the city to make sure that they're aware of the opportunity as well. And then last but not least, we do have participating lending partners. And so this is one of the most important parts of the program because these partners, excuse me, are bringing matching funds between $7,000 to $10,000 of grant funding that has the similar or same requirements that our $10,000 has. And so folks are able to go to the closing table now with our $10,000 and theirs between $17,000 and $20,000. So that is very helpful in this housing market to help folks become first-time home buyers. And so we have a lot of lending partners here. We're not making our applicants go with those lenders, but we're going to show them the portfolio and the products that they're offered in case they're interested. And so that's just a high-level overview of the program. Like I stated, we'll do this program together, community development, neighborhood housing services, but the amount that you see on the agenda today is just the fee for neighborhood housing services to administrate the program. The checks for the $10,000 will be cut internally through the finance department.
Okay, Council Abbott, do you have any questions?
Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, well, I'm glad that you said at the end that this $87,250 was just the fee, because I was thinking you can't even help 9 people with $87,000. I mean, it's not even a good round number. So where is the $10,000 grant in this deal? Where is that money?
So that is money that was set aside in the action plan,
CDBG?
yes, CDBG in our home. So this is actually home funding.
Oh, okay.
But in our action plan, I believe in 2023, we set aside close to $500,000.
Well, good. I'm really excited about the fact that you're focusing on city employees because, you know, everybody's struggling. Even if you have a good salary, it doesn't seem like it goes very far anymore. So I'm happy to hear that we're going to encourage city employees to take advantage of some of the wonderful programs we have. So
Yes,
this
thank
is
you.
good news. So, I was a little bit confused about that $87,000. I thought, exactly how are you going to make a program out of that? But now I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you very much. I echo Mrs. Abbott's comments about the fact that this is open and encouraging for city employees. So many other employers offer these type things. I think UAB tries to get people to move into the city, and they give certain incentives for their employees. So I'm just glad to see that we're stepping up to the plate to do this. My question is, so if I am the applicant for a home, first of all, you say affordable housing. Is there any cap on the price that the home can be, or is that within, is there a ratio or something that we call affordable housing?
Yeah, I believe right now it is around 300.
Okay,
So that's the max.
okay. And then what happens here? I'm interested in a home. I have a realtor, or am I ahead of the game? Am I going to you guys first? How does the typical buyer get to know about this program and get involved in it to see this is an option that I may have available to me?
Yes, so they would need to apply online, and from that point, Neighborhood Housing Services will pull the application and really assess to see where they are. So if they have a realtor and they have a sales contract, then they can move quickly through the process. If they don't have a realtor and don't have a sales contract, then there's an opportunity for Neighborhood Housing Services to introduce them to realtors. There's another partner that wasn't listed in the presentation, which is NARAB, Association of Black Realists. And so they would like to partner to make their realtors available to assist folks. And so Neighborhood Housing Services are going to be a one-stop shop to help point people to all of the resources they need.
Thank you. I was over in another area close to the city. You know, so much you see in the paper now, or you hear in the news, there's a lot of push to try to get people to just rent all the time versus becoming a homeowner. And I looked at some of the prices for the rent that they are asking. I thought, well, you could buy a house for monthly cheaper than that. But there's so much. So this is so great because I think that we're sort of encouraging people not to have that home ownership. So I appreciate this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So I guess I was trying to do the math. So you would be able to help about 50 people or so?
Yes, about 50. And, you know, everyone may not need the full 10, so we could swing in a couple of more people, but that's about right.
Gotcha. And I really want to see how we can get involved, even just helping to host a seminar or something. How can we help?
I think helping to host a seminar would be great. We want to go on tour and take this around. We know we'll get a lot of calls, which is why we want to have the third-party administration team. But helping to set up those community seminars would be great because we feel like we're going to need to have touch points with folks, sit down with them, go over the application, and so it'd be an opportunity to bring out neighborhood housing services as well as community development staff to have one-on-ones with community members.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this because this makes Birmingham more competitive for getting our population back.
Yes.
So you see Atlanta with affordable housing with T.I. and his wife, and you see other places as well. And just being a closing attorney and looking for a house myself, I'm not looking anymore. The closing costs are so expensive, and that really deters a lot of people. But having these banking institutions to really help people be able to have other ways to have loans, the counseling for it, credit counseling, and having this grant, I think it's going to be really good. I'm hoping to see a lot of younger people, young families coming back as well. So I'm excited. I hope we can have some people, in District 6, 7, and 3 coming. So, all right, do you have any more questions?
Well, I think the thing that we should help with is the home maintenance course part of it. Since we
Yes.
have to deal with all the non-home
Yeah.
maintenance complaints, it would be kind of fun for them to hear from people who hear when you let your gutters fall off your house because you never
Right.
cleaned them out. And those kind of things, the weight of the leaves after about 10 years, Anyway, so we get those complaints, so it'd be kind of interesting to join in on how to keep up the property that you're purchasing so that it will continue to gain in value and your neighbors will love you instead of wishing that you never moved in. So
Awesome.
could
We'd
have
love
some-
to have
we-
you all.
we could have some fun with that.
Is there a motion and a second?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item number 8 passes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Next item is item number 10. This is an ordinance to amend the grants fund budget by appropriating $49,997 to IMS for Alabama Workforce Stabilization Program per award received.
Good afternoon, councilors. I'm Patrick McClendon. I serve as Director of IMS. This is a reimbursement for training costs that we had in IMS. We're trying to up our grant game and get more grant funding in IMS, and this was an initiative that our Deputy Director, Annette Harris, undertook to find this and to identify really high-quality, agile project management training, which is the leading way that you manage IT projects now. I don't know if y'all stay on LinkedIn much or anything, but I've seen our employees popping up on there with their General Agile training certificates on their profiles, or their certified product owner or certified Scrum Master, which is kind of a meeting leader thing, and it's been really great to see. I think this is going to make the training has already happened. This is to get the reimbursement from the state for it. I think it makes a huge difference in our capabilities in IMS.
Counselor Abbott, do you have any questions?
I just wanted to hear, exactly like how how IMS was involved in this workforce grant. I was interested in hearing that. And I think
This
I
is training our
understand.
internal employees.
Yeah,
That's good.
our guys, the ones who are gonna buy those houses.
Maybe so.
Yeah, Madam Pro Tem?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, is there a motion and a second?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, that item passes. Next item is item number 11. It's an ordinance to amend the general fund budget by transferring $1,814,065 from capital projects consultant fees and appropriating $1,814,065 to non-departmental transfer to Fund 102 Capital Improvement, and amend the capital fund budget by appropriating the same amount to DCP Consulting for capital projects. Hey, Chief.
We'll bring up Ms. Denise Bell and I'll tag team this with her, if y'all have any questions.
Is this for the ARPA projects?
It's for everything.
Good afternoon, Denise Bell, Service Director of Capital Projects. And no, this is not for ARPA projects at all. This is for the first phase of our actual ADA transition plan. Last year, if you remember, we talked about that. It ended up costing more, so I had to wait to this fiscal year. But we can actually start that effort. It is a pretty big effort considering how much infrastructure and facilities that we own. So part of this funding will go to that first phase of the ADA transition planning efforts. It will also go to what we call a security contract review. So you know as well as we know that we have a lot of security companies that do business here in the city. And this is a process for us to actually understand who those companies are, what buildings they service, what are the terms and the conditions, and what type of contract it is. So we can actually start to actually own that process a little bit more.
Okay, thank you. Madam Pro Tem?
I guess I was really hoping this was involve some of the ARPA projects. It does not, so
So,
that's
so
okay.
if you recall, we had the line item already in ARPA for the consultant fees. So this is moving her general fund money into the capital fund.
Okay.
Because it'll spread across 2 different fiscal years.
Okay, perfect.
So we already had money assigned for ARPA in ARPA.
Perfect, okay. That makes sense, thank you.
Counselor Abbott?
Okay, so is this for buildings that the city owns, aside from the security company business, are we doing rehab of our city-owned buildings that need?
No, ma'am. So in order for us to even get to that process, we got to know what we have now. So this is this is to allow us to start looking at our security contracts. This building has this ADS, this building has this. We are responsible for paying bills for facilities that we're not quite sure what all contracts they have. So this contract allows us to look at the entire picture so we can then develop the next steps.
Okay, so this is a study of the security companies.
It's
that-
not a study, it is a review of all the contracts for all security-related services for our buildings. We
For
have
our
over 400
buildings.
buildings in the city of Birmingham, yes.
Okay, so that's scary. We don't know.
Well, Capital Projects does not know. So Capital Projects needs to pull all this information together. And so what we're saying is now we need help in order to own this process. We need to create a process. So you got to know what you have first before you can actually create a process on how you, as a facility owner, would contact an actual facility, security company, and how that will look moving forward. But we have to know what we have now.
Oh, I agree with that. I'm just kind of surprised that we don't know what we have now, but
Right, yeah. Can I answer?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is one of those things that we inherited as an administration. And once we developed and created the Department of Capital Projects, we wanted to improve some type of efficiencies that everything will flow through a department and not be worked in silos through other departments that have the same needs that other facilities have. So you had a department head or a division head go out and get these services without any oversight. So this is really more creating an oversight process that we can create an efficiency with capital projects in order to have them be the storekeeper or the storehouse for that process.
well, that's good. I mean, it's a good thing. It's just, I guess, being ignorant about the whole situation, I'm just surprised that we don't know what we're doing, but we're going to find out.
Yes, it can be very frustrating when we get invoices and we have no idea where it comes from or who is assigned to and who's paying for it more than anything.
Yeah, that would be scary. Okay, well, surprises come every day. I guess this is my first big surprise for 2024.
Okay, well, I don't have any other questions.
Well, I move approval.
All in favor say aye. Aye, the item passes. Thank you. Next item is item number 17. This is an agreement with Opportunity Space under which the city will acquire their building block software and related licenses to be used for property management analytics through a map-based application that connects and updates data held in different systems and formats across city departments at a cost of $65,200. Welcome back.
Good afternoon again, councilors. Patrick McClendon, Service Director of IMS. This purchase of Ptolemy is a major building block and kind of relevant to your last item in us developing a comprehensive real property management system for the city so that we can pull together all the different types of data that we have about properties that the city has an interest in and query that and have a greater understanding of what our rights and responsibilities and ownership interest and things like that are in any and all real property that we might have an interest in.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you very much. So currently, we don't have any system that keeps this up, a little bit piggybacking on what Ms.
We have a lot of systems that do a piece of it.
So the
that were
problem is
built
you don't have.
in a silo, as Chief Mitchell said, over time. But for instance, you'll have real property information in the finance department as fixed assets. You'll have real property information in the planning, engineering, and permits that might have to do with changes to the property, zoning, all kinds of GIS information. You might have real property information about insurance on different properties, or the security system you've got somewhere, or a lease that we are leasing a piece of property, or we're leasing a piece of property somewhere else, or the city has a lien on a piece of property. And so the need is to be able to say, okay, what is everything we have an interest in? And if I look at this specific piece of property, what are all the interests and things about that I need to know to make good judgment and manage that property well? And that's never existed before for us.
Okay.
Just very siloed information.
Okay, so this again will bring all this information under one umbrella with the use of this software. And there's a term that you use in business, where you're sort of putting everything, all the systems in place.
Just consolidating your systems for greater efficiency.
Right, I thought there was another term that was used for that.
Data integration.
Yeah, so that's, I know we've heard pieces of this before, but is this under a big plan again? Or is this just siloing here or looking at property management?
Right. It's our strategy
Okay.
to try to remove all those silos between departments and find ways, where we have things that are shared between departments to make the systems work together so that we really have a unified view of what we're doing, whether it's real property or financial management, or being able to list what security contracts we have for alarms in all of our buildings. The strategy is to have a unified plan set of data instead of little silos of data popping up when we have an emergency or a new program and it just plops up and it's not integrated into everything else. We want to make sure our data is there and useful and that we get full value out of it.
So the cost, the $65,000, does this include any training of the users for this particular software? Is this just the integration of the software?
This is just the lease of the software.
Lease of the software,
The
okay.
SaaS software.
And so, but there will be training? and
Yes,
there
it's
will
part of
be-
a larger program to do this. It's quite it's a bit of an undertaking to find all the data everywhere, find a way to keep that original system in place so it's functioning as intended, and then regularly extract that and keep this reporting system basically up to date in real time. So it just takes some engineering to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Counselor Abbott?
So can you describe some of the types of data that would be kept in this property management system? Would it keep up with like all the different kinds of HVAC systems and things like that for all of the different buildings that the city owns?
No, that's more of a asset management system. It would tie into that, and we have some of that already. That's another area I know that we would all like to attack, is to have a more integrated asset management system, and that's more for maintaining properties, like maintaining a building, those sorts of things. We have systems that do that, but I'd like to see that better integrated. This is more, do you have an ownership interest there? What is the building? Just describe the building. Is there a lien on the property? Are there agreements, for it? All those sorts of things. Are we leasing it? Do we lease it to someone? Those sorts of things. And it would be a separate asset management system that would do the real property, physical facility of a building or something. But the idea is, as we build those out, integrate those into here so we could query between them. I know that's a little complicated. I'm sorry if it doesn't.
Well, yeah, HVAC was probably a bad example anyway. Maybe I should have said.
It's a good example, actually.
Roofing systems,
Right.
what does each building have and what does it take to maintain it, and do we ever maintain it? And, I guess, so I'm looking at maintenance and you're looking at just physical assets and trying to figure out.
I would build a system or maintain our system that has the property management. So things like the roofing system, the plumbing, electrical, HVAC is a great example. Build that, and then that would be one of the systems that feeds into this as you need it to. Because that would be a very purpose-built system, and this is more of a data aggregation system.
And Counselor Abbott, Madam Chair.
Yes, Chief.
And I think Public Works uses some internal system that they track all the warranties and the useful life of certain things that we implement. And to Mr. McClellan's point, is trying to integrate those two, because they're city-owned facilities and city-owned properties that we need to keep track of. So we hear you. I think we're on the same page.
I suppose one way to describe it is we're not looking at creating new data or a new operation system with this. We're looking at taking the data we have and making it more useful to us.
So if the council members asked for all of the city-owned buildings
There you
and
go.
what they're,
That's what we're trying to get to.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
that is why we're here today.
oh, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that we're.
You read
get-
between the lines just then. Thank you.
Yeah, but- Okay, well, I'm just glad we're getting our act together.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
That's right. Well, I mean, if you haven't been for years and years, I guess somebody has to start.
You know, Chief is doing a good job of making sure we get back on track. So, are there any more questions from the committee members? Okay, is there a motion and a
I
second?
move approval.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, the item passes. Thank you. We don't have any old and new business. The next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will meet on Monday, January 22nd, 2024 at 3:30 p.m. What about, I'm so sorry. There is new business, and this is, you can come if you guys want to come before.
Just
I'm
briefly,
just let you explain it, yeah.
item 13 and 15 were two of three contracts that were.
That's already been
some of-
approved.
So what's this?
That was a separate item that was,
Okay, this is something different, okay. So I'll read it. This is for FBI LEEDA. Will provide 3 sessions of their Supervisor Leadership Institute to BPD to occur the weeks of January 16th through the 19th, January 22nd to the 26th, January 29th to February 2nd, for a total of $108,500. And the mayor is further authorized to expend up to an additional $1,500 to provide meals and refreshments.
So we had submitted 3 contracts. Item
Gotcha.
13 and 15 were 2 of those. The third one got left off, so it was added back in as an
Okay.
addendum. Chief Mack can address
Gotcha.
any questions.
Happy New Year. I'm LaQuaylan Parmack. I serve as the Assistant Chief. And this particular item is part of a trilogy. So the previous 2 training classes, this is just a 3rd class to complete the trilogy.
Committee members, do you have any questions?
I could have sworn I read 3 of them last night. Sly,
it's
Eli.
3 different
Chief.
dates.
Yes, ma'am. There was an error in the 3 we
Gotcha.
read 2 weeks ago. So we're revising those, rescinding the 3 previous resolutions and getting the correct amount on the agenda tomorrow. And they're all on consent, I believe.
Well, maybe that was it. Maybe it was reading the council agenda after reading the
Correct, yeah.
budget and finance
Yeah.
agenda, and they all melded together, as they often do. Okay, so we've got Eli, Sly, and Cly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Madam Pro Tem? Okay. I guess we can mark it as item 22. Is there a motion and a second?
I move approval.
All in favor say aye. Aye, the item passes. Thank you, guys. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.